kids. We're hanging out with Lylon Bento, and she is a big-time real estate agent and real estate developer in Hawaii. What's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me, Kenner.
I'm excited about this because we're going to be talking about AI. You've recently found AI. Now that it sounds like you're really getting some ideas from AI. In this presentation, we're going to do this together. I think it's going to help you. It's going to help some of the people you know and some of the people in our community. So I'm totally excited about this.
Me too. I can't wait.
All right, let's break it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and at the same time, I think we're both going to be online. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So do you see my screen, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Sweet. Okay. So supercharging real estate with AI. The reason I came up with that is because I think AI will, without a doubt, help people in your industry. And you have a kind of a two-spoke industry. You have you're a real estate developer and an agent. And I think AI is really, that's where it's really going to impact. I think people who are in both of those specific fields, maybe even more than anyone. So let's get to it. And this is supposed to be interactive. It's going to be fun, helpful for you, helpful for our community, and hopefully helpful for me because I'll be able to learn some of the stuff we're talking about. So first, real quickly, I'm with vastsolutionsgroup.com. We're an vastassetdefense.com company. We've been around since 1969. Kevin, Mr. Wonderful O'Leary, you know, he is probably, you know, the guy on the Shark Tank. You know, check out what vastsolutionsgroup.com is doing with AI, saving entrepreneurs money on taxes. You'll be glad you did, which I love. That makes me feel good. That shows that we've been doing artificial intelligence for a while, really since 2010 is when we started. 2018 is when we had our own model. So real quickly, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so people could understand a little bit about who you are, etc.
My name is Lylon Bento. I'm the owner of Hawaii Development Group here in Hawaii. We do general real estate sales and real estate developments as well, from affordable housing to luxury housing we sell, and looking to also join in and have a property management division as well. So trying to incorporate AI into all of these.
Yeah, and just recently, it sounds like you just found artificial intelligence. You're jumping in with both feet. Real quickly, why don't you mention what you think some of the benefits of using artificial intelligence are as far as what you see right now?
What I'm doing right now is I'm restructuring actually my entire company. We've rebranded, going more towards the luxury market, more towards developments. And I'm seeing that I have to scale my company. And in scaling my company, trying to find good hires to implementing and trying to streamline from systems to even hiring, how AI is really playing a huge role, bigger than I even anticipated with. I really started off with trying to help create a college fund for kids using AI with my daughter, and turned into having to do all this for the company. And, you know, it keeps coming back to, I ask all these business mentors, all these successful businesses, and they're like, you don't need all that, just AI, Lylon. And it keeps going right back to AI. And so, yeah, I'm excited to learn how to even expand upon what I know.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to do a real quick introduction just before we got on. You know, you said, oh, you know, there's a lot of hype as far as AI goes. And what I would say is it's high time because, you know, it started really, if you think about it, in the 50s. And by the way, what is AI? Artificial intelligence. If you really think about it, all it is a predictive measure of something. So meaning, hi, how are, and then the artificial intelligence would say you based on how it's what's happened in the past, and it kind of presents things going forward. So really, if you really think about it, that's really all it is. But now we have these cool LLMs, or large language model, which basically it takes all the information from the internet and what you're typing into the computer, and it predicts the next word, what the next word should be. Does that make sense?
Right.
That's really all it is. And it's kind of, I mean, it's crazy that, you know, the industry has been thinking about that for so long, but that's, in a nutshell, that's really what it is. And OpenAI, or ChatGPT, is kind of the one that really is now getting a lot of focus because it kind of, I won't say perfected the situation, but it came close to perfecting it, at least as we've now come to expect in the last year and a half. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I love, you know, just a quick tip. I love how it gets to kind of know you, know your company, know a little bit of your background as the questions over time that you're asking it, and it caters it instead of, it's almost like hiring an assistant. And then, you know, you have to keep repeating, I don't like that branding, and no, that's not the answer. And AI already gets it from the beginning, which I love. And then secondly, with marketing and developing with Hawaii, people seem to have that Waikiki, luau, grass skirts, pineapple juice kind of feel with our culture. And so marketing it correctly, AI picked it up from the beginning, which I was astounded with.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It can replace employees, or what I would also say is it can make employees even much more much more efficient, which is a huge deal. I mean, maybe you
Mm,
don't need to fire a bunch of people or lay off a bunch of
right.
people because AI can help them get more efficient, and who knows, you could scale and grow. But you're totally right, and I think
Yeah.
some areas in the United States are more apt to use artificial intelligence, or like I say, large language models, which, as an example, are ChatGPT, Gemini, which is Google. We'll get into that in a little bit, and there's a couple others. But it's amazing to me. And remember, I've been doing it for a while. We've been doing
Yeah.
it for a while. It's amazing to me how far it's come in such a short little time. We're kind of the new modern AI. But what's going to happen is it's only going to get better from where we are now.
Right. Right.
And by the way, why use artificial intelligence? It helps innovation of humanity. That's the way I look at it. It makes us be that much better as a human race, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. Some people say there's some bad things about artificial intelligence. Maybe computers will run the world. I don't like
Yeah.
to think about that, but luckily that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. And I like how creative it is quickly. At the end of the day, if I have projects to do and I'm trying to come up with ideas, it revamped, for example, my mission statement in like a minute,
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, exactly, that's where I was headed. I just couldn't at that moment, 8 o'clock at night, think of how to, seal it and revise it quickly.
Do you feel okay mentioning a little bit about your mission statement? Because I think it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Let me
You want
just,
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool if you want to, if you don't want to share the whole thing. I don't know, but
yeah, let me just get in there.
okay.
I
And you're right.
recently,
You're totally right. I mean, people are. You could do a mission statement in minutes because it has
yeah,
this thing called the knowledge base. All the information about your company, about you, etc. You could put in the it's called a prompt in the computer, and then
right,
basically it kicks out suggestions for you as far as maybe what a mission statement would be.
right. Let's just see. So our core values is honesty, integrity, commitment, innovation, and heart. Those are the five values. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have five volcanoes on our island. So if you go on the website, it kind of has like these peaks
Mm-hmm.
that represent all those core values. And then I quickly switched my mission statement, and it says at Hawaii Development Group, our mission is to redefine real estate in Hawaii through a value-driven approach rooted in honesty, integrity, commitment, innovation, and heart. We believe in conducting business with transparency and fairness, building lasting relationships founded on trust and mutual respect. On our unwavering commitment to excellence drives us to go above and beyond for our clients, providing personalized service that reflects the unique spirit of Hawaii. Guided by innovation, we blend modern real estate strategies with a deep respect for the island's culture and environment. With heart at the center of all we do, we are passionate about creating opportunities that strengthen communities, honor the Aina, which is land, and help our clients find their perfect place in paradise. So it quickly tweaked it to that.
Holy mackerel! How long do you think that would have taken to do the whole thing if you didn't use artificial intelligence?
Probably a week of trying to go back and forth and get ideas. And yeah, it would have taken me a while of just trying to concentrate, probably driving in the car and trying to figure it out. I mean,
And
that really saved me. Just something simple, a simple task like that.
and that's an important. I would think a mission statement is really important overall because that's a foundation for your whole firm. And now you've been able to do that instead of spending a week, which is you're a big hitter, so that would have been an
Right.
expensive undertaking.
And even simple questions like, okay, when you're scaling the company, what does an average realtor make? What is an average? I mean, it just helps me also setting goals, company goals to scale it. Just something simple like that. This is the average. This is the average in Hawaii. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
where I can't really get that data quickly, right?
Yeah,
That's another thing, getting data quickly to get an answer.
yeah, and it's crazy that basically, again, it's a predictive measure. It predicts what the next word should be, and it throws in words or numbers based on all the knowledge base from the internet now,
Yeah.
also based on what your input is, and that
Right.
shows you how powerful artificial intelligence can be.
Yeah. It's even helping from social media content ideas. What's a good hook? What are people asking? What are the hashtags? I mean, just something simple where I had a team of maybe 4 or 5 people doing this.
Mhm.
where you can just shoot out ideas, right, of what's trending because it already knows that.
Yep, and we're going to go over that. We're going to pick your brain on that in just a little
Yeah.
bit. So here's some benefits of using artificial intelligence, and let's see if some of these have hit home for us. Streamlined administrative tasks. Would you say that for you, it's taken the place of maybe like a half an assistant or a half
Yeah.
a VA as an example?
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And I put, as an example, be an administrative assistant, because now, I mean, instead of us doing some tasks as far as kind of, checking through all my emails for me, now
Yeah.
we run it through our artificial intelligence system we call Einstein, and it basically figures out how I should respond to an email and throws a draft in our system, and then I can just push a button usually because it's the email's been kind of fixed up using AI, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just rebranded to a new company, Luxury Presence website for
Mhm.
websites. They do like the best in real estate, in the country, top notch. And they have an entire AI program. And I had a lead this weekend. By the time I spoke to him, he thought that AI he's an astronomer, was a person. I mean, that's how thorough of the answers that Alex, the AI person, by the time I got to him and it prompted me, I was blown away.
Wait, wait,
It
wait.
was,
Explain. Explain. I'm confused. Can you say that all? That sounds really cool.
so
Say that one more time.
I use a new company for my websites, and it uses AI for its lead generation system through Luxury Presence. And I've had other systems that use AI, but people knew automatically and they would get pissed off, like have them call me, as a lead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the conversations, and by the time it'll prompt you, they kind of have a conversation with the lead first, and then when
Yep.
they're ready to speak to someone, it turns it over to you. Well, when I called this gentleman nighttime in California, he was so impressed with Alex that he thought worked for me, but it was AI. And he was like, she was phenomenal with her answers. And I was thinking, wow, it just cut down all that talking time, right? Of hours of being on the phone and building that relationship while flying in Hawaii. And yeah,
So basically, what you're saying is what we call it AI employee. Ours is named Einstein because that's what our whole model is built on. But
yeah,
basically, what you're saying is, if I understand you correctly, you probably have a phone number. That phone number is connected to, instead of you, it goes to an AI model.
yep,
And Alex, it sounds like,
yeah,
basically has a communication or conversation with, in that case,
ongoing.
the
Mhm.
prospect, and walks in this case, him, down a path. And it also can make it where there's a few things that occur. One, the Alex could close the client to a certain extent, although
Right.
that's hard. Or two, set up an appointment. Or three, auto generate a voicemail to you as an example to
Yeah.
hurry and pick up your phone. Or it can go to a live call. So it's called a bridge AI. So then you're talking to that client, to the end user prospect in that case.
Yeah.
All correct?
Yes.
No. No.
Where like
No.
the other systems are kind of, I think the AI was a little bit more generic, and I think people caught on quickly
Yep.
compared to this system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, Alex. Yeah, I mean, it totally. That's a great example. And by the
Yeah.
way, I think what you probably did was, or the company did, they put in, I bet you, all your websites or a bunch of frequently asked questions about your company, and then that model, Alex, can learn about your company and then communicate
Yeah.
with that client, or in that case, with the prospect in that case. All sound
Right.
right?
Right.
Yep.
Even
That,
the area they were looking, they honed in on it. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was like having a person just spending all day with that one lead. Where, like,
now,
we would have to get in the car, go to all the different appointments, right? We can't be on the phone all day with one person. Yeah.
yep. And
Phenomenal.
Alex, can Alex call in sick?
No.
No. Can Alex ask for a raise? No, probably
No.
not. Although Alex sometimes does get things wrong, by the way, but I know how that
Yeah.
goes. But at the same time, sometimes Alex does go down. But what I would say is, generally speaking, it's a lot better in most cases than a human in its interaction, and at least initially in that case.
Yeah. Especially initially, exactly when you're trying to figure out where does the lead want to buy, just all the basics, right? That can be time consuming sometimes. It depends on the buyer or seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. And then I say here, draft solid content, like your mission statement as an example. Or you mentioned something that's pretty huge. You mentioned something about social media. We're going to get into that. But what are you using AI for as far as social media goes?
I haven't started yet, but I have a business mentor. And so I asked him because he has this huge online presence on
Hmm.
social media, which is how I kind of found them. And I
Hmm.
asked him, I said, okay, well, explain to me as my business mentor, how do you do this, right? Because I used to have an entire media team like he did that was astronomical. And at the time, I could see my ROI making sense. But then after a while, it was like, I had to come up with ideas. It just was too time consuming, right? When you're trying to like sell real estate and then try and figure out content ideas and where props and where are we going to shoot. And that was just time consuming. And he said he used to have the same thing. He said all you need is a videographer. Twice a month is what he films for 2 hours twice a month, and he throws into his admin throws into AI. Give me 30 content ideas that are trending for real estate or a particular subject. It pumps that out. What are 30 hooks to use? What are the 30 posts? And what are the hashtags for all 30? And it does all of that, gives it to him. He shoots it, twice a month, and then puts it into another AI system. I think it's descriptive,
Probably
or
CapCut.
edits
I
it
bet you.
into, which he had editors before, edits that into, I think he said 200 reels. I mean, it's where he had a whole team. He said he just basically pays an admin their regular salary, and AI does all of it, and the videographer twice a month.
Yeah, yeah. I think what you're calling it probably called CapCut, CapCut,
Yeah, they
which
have that too.
I gotcha. And it
He was
totally
saying
made.
descriptive. This other one is more AI. He was saying that it actually edits and cuts it for you, and then you kind of can see if you don't like it or review it. But or CapCut, it was a little bit more time consuming. He was telling me, but I was like, oh,
Interesting.
that's interesting.
I mean, what would you rather do? Employ someone who's going to go through all the videos and cut it, splice it, take hours or whatever, call in sick, go to the bathroom, or an AI system that could do it in whatever ten
Yeah,
seconds.
and then you have content right pumped out for the month, or where before I was spending once a week hours, and you're prepping before then, and you're trying to figure out what to say and ideas and what are we shooting, which listing, and yeah, you don't know if it's going to stick or not. Where this, knows what's AI is paying attention, right? Knows what's trending. What are people asking? What are they interested in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm preaching to the choir here. Drafting emails. In the third little box, I said, it could draft emails. Just like I said, it could draft emails to clients. For us, it does our internal posting for our community. And
Okay.
so, on a daily basis, we have it kick out, posts. The AI suggests
Wow.
what posts to do to our community based on what's going on with the news that day. So
Wow.
it makes it really nice in that regard because I don't have to keep up with the news per se. It makes it just so it could basically read through all the news, all the important websites that we're suggesting it to read. It
Yeah.
goes through there and then it kicks out something that's salient or really important on that day.
Wow.
And optimize business strategies. I'm going to go back to what here I said, be a consulting partner like no other. But I mean, what you've already done is unbelievable because what you've already done was use it as a foundation for your business. Do it, a mission statement as an example. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then now I'm looking at doing the social media, right? Trying to nail that down. And then with the rebranding, I have another company that is helping me scale, and then do the systems. But I'm sure a lot of those systems I probably could use AI instead
Yeah,
of.
wait, yeah, wait, hold on. Why don't you? I don't understand. Because no
Yeah.
offense, but your AI system, as long as you're plugging it with good inputs or what they call prompts in artificial
Okay.
intelligence, you could probably pretty be as smart as some of those marketing people.
Okay. Because I have a CRM system that is going to be looking into the KPI, that has a KPI system, but I'm sure AI could come up with, I don't know, or work
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. I mean, why not play around with it? We'll get into that in just a little
Okay.
bit. So here's the thing for agents. I put together things because I know you're both an agent and also a developer. So here, a couple examples of things that AI can do: craft engaging property listings. I don't know if you do property listings personally,
Yeah.
but property listings. It could throw together really cool property listings based on the market you're trying to market to. So what you can do is, okay, I don't know, let's say, or I'm making this up. Let's say you want to sell a house in Maui,
Yeah.
and and you want to put in certain parameters or find certain markets. You could actually be very, very pinpointed as to how you market your properties in that case in Maui, as an example. So you could say,
Oh.
what individuals would want to buy this type of property, and
Yeah.
then connect it to the property listing and have it write the property listing that would kind of connect with those type of purchasers.
Okay, I already have it writing my MLS descriptions, which again,
Oh, there you
cuts
go.
down. I
Yeah.
used to pay somebody just to do that, and now it's like just throw it into ChatGPT. I even pull like an old listing, right, and then the new listing, and then it comes up with a MLS description. But you're saying I could get even more
Oh, you can get
detail,
even
right?
more granular. Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
But you're already using. I didn't know. Wow. So yeah, that's awesome that you're already doing. That's 20 steps in front of most agents. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, what could I quickly write? Or I use it individually sometimes for email responses, but I think you're using it even more detailed, which is even better of drafting
Yeah, it kicks it
responses.
out so it's a draft, so it's perfect. So if I like it, I just hit send. Otherwise, I change it in the draft and then can change it. Or sometimes I'll have it go to draft and then I'll put the excerpt into another AI model. Like instead of
Okay.
using chat, I'll use Gemini as an example.
Yeah.
And if I like that one better, I'll just copy and paste that and put it into AI. Although generally it does pretty good for me.
Okay. And are you connecting your AI into an email somehow, or you're just, yeah.
We use, and I'm not totally going to suggest this, but we've used Google for years.
Okay.
A thing called TensorFlow, which is underneath the Google that you probably know. So, and that's the reason a lot of what we do is Google or Gemini, and that's
Okay.
Gemini's AI model that is
Okay.
popularly known. And so, what we have it do is run on our Einstein system through Gmail,
Okay.
and then it sends it out. Does that make sense? And I'm not
Yeah.
going to suggest that just for us in the way we've got all our AI set up, and we've had it set up since 2018. That's the way we have it.
Easy. So it's connected to your emails. It's connected to all of your systems.
Right.
And
You
then
don't
you
have.
prompt it, or you set it up the way you want it to operate.
Yep. We set up the way we want to. Right. But you don't have to do that. What you can do is, or what people can do, is they could. There's an automation on top of chat. Sometimes people call it. It's called Zapier or
Yes.
Make. And you could do what we do. You could do it through that automation as well, using
Okay.
Zapier or Make.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
down the road, you'll be able to do it, and I'm sure all the systems. But in all Zapier or Make, it's just a macro or an automation tool
Okay.
that talks. Has one software app, let's say, talking to another one. In this case, I'm saying you can do it with chat. Goes to your Gmail account as an example if you use Gmail.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You can do exactly what I just said. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles that we have.
Okay. And you put your email into chat, or no?
Do we put our emails into chat? It's more like
Or
the
how do you
chat
connect the chat GPT with a Gmail?
through in our case Zapier.
Zapier. Okay.
Or we would be able to do it through Zapier, but we don't need to because we use our own system, Einstein. But yes,
Okay.
normally speaking, you could do it through Zapier.
Okay.
I could show you how to do that down the road too.
Yeah.
Or your mentor can. And that automating lead follow-up, what we do is we have basically, let's say, we'll use the analogy. You know how you just said that, one of your prospects was talking to Alex?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you ended up calling this prospect, but
Alex prompted me, hey, please reach out. This is the conversation. It was perfect.
Yep. And let's say you didn't get a hold of that prospect, although
Yeah.
obviously he liked what he heard, but and you left a message. We, as well as you down the road, I'm sure you can have the AI system continuing to follow up with that prospect.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you could prompt it in as much as you want. The AI can learn how much to call a person as an example, but
Okay.
it's pretty cool because you don't have to call like we would do every 7 days. Hey, what's
Yep.
going on? We haven't heard back from you. Instead, the AI system will put together kind of your system for how you want. We call it causation, or
Okay.
sometimes they call it workflow. It can follow up for you, so you don't have to do it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So instead of every 7 days, you can do it every 4
Right.
days. And the way we do it is we do these whisper calls. It sends calls to the people's voicemail
Yeah.
in my voice, right?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, it sends emails, and sometimes it'll send a text also. And the AI learns how to best do it to get a hold of that person.
Wow.
Yep. That's just one example, and that's pretty relatively easy. That's one
Yeah.
example of how
But it's
AI
all
can
time
totally help you.
consuming, right? If you were to try and do this, all of this manually as one person,
Oh,
or even having a team, and sometimes people drop the ball, they forget that they call them, it's AI is just consistent, right?
that's exactly right. And it
Yeah,
does all these calls so we don't have to.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes a mistake. Believe me, it makes it. Or sometimes you could tell that it's calling at 3 a.m. That's my own fault. We got to reset it sometimes. But it's nice because it really seemingly, hopefully, the person will see. These guys are calling. Oh, here's an example. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy for months on end, starting like July. He would call back or weird hours or whatever. And then
Yeah.
when I finally decided, when we finally connected, he basically said, the reason I'm doing business with you guys, one, because of a referral, but two, because you guys showed that you're on me. And then I told him, well, hey, dude, frankly, it was because of AI. But he was like impressed. He's like, wow, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. That systems it's all connected and it's
Right.
working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. And here for developers, you could do project proposals as a and pitches, by the way, for clients or whatever, or for trying to buy a property. Automating here, I say automating customer and investor communication. Total. I mean,
Yeah.
just like you were talking, it makes it so much easier because everything's automated.
Right. Market trends, opportunities.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It can analyze the market on an ongoing basis for where you are and help to determine good prices potentially to make as far as offers go.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Do you connect AI to something to do all of this, or is it you manually? Like, could you generate proposals and pitches? Could you?
No, you could. Oh yeah, you could connect them. Like again, we have our own system, but you could connect it with whatever Make or Zapier.
Okay.
So like, let's here's an example. I don't know what's the coolest system for finding out prices in Hawaii.
And that's the hard thing. It's our MLS system.
Okay.
And like, for example, our island is vastly different, right? You have like a coffee shack next to like a mansion. In certain areas or a lot of areas around, it's not like a cookie cutter subdivision. There's some areas, but most of the island areas are not, right? It's rural. You have beautiful homes next to shacks. Mm-hmm. And our MLS system's from the 70s. And so to try and pull an accurate market report, you have to like play around with it. So that's why I always think of like, I know you have the data. How come you're not, putting it in correctly, right? I mean, the system should have the data, right, of all the sales over the years to accurately kind of pull out, hey, that's an ugly home, the higher end homes, let's put them together,
Yeah, but the system would be able to, okay, here, go with me here. So the system would be able to figure out probably the right zip codes for what you're talking about and be able to sift through the different, it's called strata. It could figure out what the price point would be based on, let's say, the zip code or square footage or past sales. It would be able to figure that out. I'm sure. I've never done it, but
I'm sure. I think AI probably could pull it quicker than, because I feel like Redfin and Zillow, even though those estimates can be a little off sometimes, they're great for consumers, their apps and the data that they have and the information is actually more than what our own MLS, which it's pulling from. But I feel like those sites are more accurate than our MLS system. So sometimes I go on there, and find out information quicker than trying to plug in our MLS.
Yeah, you would totally be able to do. So wait a minute. So that's interesting. So you just said that Zillow sometimes are off or whatever. You would be able to.
Yeah.
Is it usually off on the high side or low side? Where is it usually wrong?
Sometimes it's usually much higher with Zillow. Redfin is a little bit more accurate, I find.
You could train the AI to. It would be able to figure that out, I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I think AI would be more accurate towards like Zillow and Redfin compared to our own MLS, which is very outdated. It's like a lot of manual, like section by section, when you sometimes pull a market report. Yep. If it's a standard subdivision, easy. But when you start getting to like the outskirts of the island, I'm like, oh boy.
I'm sure
you have to kind of really look at it, delete properties.
Well, that's the cool thing about AI. It learns. It would be able
Hmm.
to learn the system, whatever you're putting in, and whatever Google says, or whatever the
Yeah.
system, the data that's provided to it says.
Yeah.
I give 4 examples of client, not our specific clients relative to AI, because we don't really do AI for clients, but I just think everyone should be doing AI more than ever now.
Yeah.
We had a client who said he multiplied his social media posts. Supposedly, it saved him 60,000 because he doesn't have to. He was going to make a hire, but now he doesn't have to make that hire because his I forgot which AI system he was using, but it just made it so it does all the posts just like you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's my one of my next things I'm trying to do is conquer this entire social media with using AI, come up with ideas, posting hooks, all of it.
Yeah, we don't do it, but what we're supposed to do is spend all that time on the the hook, and then fill in after that. But usually
Yeah,
AI can
it
figure out
takes up
what's the
so
best
much
hook.
time. Yeah. You have to be creative and you have to kind of be like in that moment, right? It's like, okay, what's next? And yeah. I found it was time consuming.
No, I think it is. Well, here's an
Yeah.
example. If the guy was going to spend $60,000 on a year hiring someone, he doesn't have to, and that's now $60,000 that he
I
can lower
agree.
his cost for the end user client, or he can make more money. $60,000. That shows you that that's a real cost.
Right. And especially since, I got into real estate 11 years ago. And when I got into real estate, you still could kind of be a salesperson. And now it's like you got to be the videographer. You got to be, you have to be social media person. You have to be, all of these things, right? Instead of just sales. So
It's
I think that it
changed.
cuts down, which I think AI definitely is doing a lot of those roles that you have to put on now in real estate,
Exactly.
where you can
That's
focus
exactly
on the
right.
deal and focus on the client, right?
You're totally right. That's exactly right. AI makes it so we can be entrepreneurs again a little bit more so, because
Yeah.
now we don't have to deal with some of the administrative things, et cetera, because it clears you up to do whatever it is that you enjoy as a real estate agent or
Yeah.
developer.
Even a business owner, right? Because I'm always looking at new training, new this, new that, and just start asking it questions, and where I would have to probably hire someone to give me that answer. It gives me the answer, right? Of kind of like ideas I may have, what's working, what's not working, because business is always changing. I think.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I think with AI, I know it's going to sound weird. I think it slows down the change because the it allows to do so much more, so it kind of changes the equation as far as how quickly things occur. I know it sounds weird because AI is changing on a daily basis, but I think it slows down kind of the workforce, because you could do what it is you want to do, because the AI stuff is running a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that you probably don't want to do.
And for me, even like with leads, because people, every island, for example, every island in Hawaii is different. Every town is different. Our island has 11 of the 13 world climates on the one island, right? So
Oh, wow.
every town is like, we have a mountain that snows, there's an active volcano, I mean, a desert area, rainforest. So I think people watch HGTV and then they have this image of Hawaii. And then, so usually those initial conversations, which AI is doing, kind of narrowing down of what someone's really looking for instead of
Hmm.
10, 12 phone calls, right? Of trying to figure it out with them.
Wow.
But
Well, I'm going to ask this actually. So, are you a little worried that AI could take your job as a realtor, or is it that you're learning AI so much that you're going to be ahead of the curve?
I think ahead of the curve, because there's
Yep.
certain things, especially with Hawaii real estate, that you need a human being and you really need to know what you're buying. Could be a flood zone, lava zone. I mean, there's so many layers that you can't really figure out with AI or really understanding it of the area. So that I'm not really worried about, but for the, to really weed out who's serious, who's not, where's someone looking for, because those conversations, especially initially, can take a while,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're not familiar with Hawaii, right? They saw HDTV and now they
Mm-hmm.
want to buy here. So I just see it really helping me. And even in my day to day business, if I have questions or a tough email to respond to, like, okay, I kind of got the gist of it. Could you make this look like flower it up, right? Make it
Mm-hmm.
flowery. Yeah.
This would probably be a good spot. Can you tell a little bit about kind of your services as it relates to Hawaii, as far as development or as an agent? Because I mean, some people are going to be listening to this and maybe want to use your services for either or.
Yeah. So I am Hawaiian. I'm Hawaiian Portuguese. Most realtors here are not from here, so it's really crucial to, when you do find someone that's selling real estate, really understands each island, each town, development. What are you looking to buy? It's crucial that somebody has a real deep understanding of buying real estate here in Hawaii, the culture, developments, all of that. And so our services are, we sell all types of real estate, vacant lots too, um, affordable housing, high-end housing, new construction, old construction. So yeah, that's what we sell. That's what my company sells, all types of real estate. Most of us are from Hawaii, so we really understand all the areas of Hawaii and really how to understand living here, doing business here, investing here. So just let me know. Yeah.
And just in case people don't realize, what's your website again?
It's hawaiidevelopmentgroup.com or Lylon Bento, which is my full name.com, is my website as well.
And Lylon is Lielan, Bento, Bento.
Lylon, so it's Lailan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking, yeah, I wrote it down so I wouldn't say it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So thank you for outlining, and thank you for being here. So let's kind of move on if that's okay. So yeah, I think as far as AI goes, it's a competitive advantage. There's no way, we were around, started in 1969, and we've grown. We're all over the country now. We would not have grown the way we've grown recently if it weren't for AI. And by the way, just to mention it, it's worth mentioning, even this as an example, you can save money on taxes because you get R&D tax credits, research and development tax credits, which are even better than a normal deduction. You get research credits because you're pushing the envelope. So that's something to think about with respect to all this AI. And by the way, you got to tell your accountant, you're spending money on AI and R&D, you're going to save money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It can be a lot, especially you, because you're really all in,
Yeah. Well, I just touched on one thing, and now I'm going down a rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, you can do all of these other things, which is phenomenal.
It'll save you so much. Just think of all the time you're spending on, let's say you're spending, making up this, 10 hours, whatever, total on, AI, etc. Your ROI is going to be it's going to be huge because it's going to be making you so much more efficient going forward.
Yeah. I've been in sales a long time, and I remember initially the first sales training I had, it was like, okay, take a day, right? At the end of the day, what did you spend your time on? And it's like all those little details and all those phone calls and all the minute things that AI can do. I mean, it takes you away from really focusing on the business aspect of getting business, that revenue coming in. If you're, babysitting employees, if you're trying to follow up, if you're manually making all the calls. Yeah.
I so hear you. Believe me. Yeah, I know. I've been an entrepreneur since 2006. I know it can be a challenge, but AI is going to make it a lot easier. And here, we mentioned LLM, just as a reminder, I use that as a kind of a proxy for AI. AI equals artificial intelligence. LLM is large language model. And some of the models, everyone's probably heard of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The company that is responsible for that is OpenAI.com.
Okay.
And then, as I mentioned before, we use Gemini for a lot of our stuff. The underpinning for AI, and that's a Google product.
Okay.
Claude is another one, and that's if you will, sponsored by or started by a company called Anthropic. Some of the people from OpenAI decided to leave and start their own company, and that's how Anthropic started.
Okay.
And then there's a whole bunch of other ones now that are popping up. Meta, X. There's a whole bunch of other ones, but I just wanted to give the main one so people can kind of understand what we're talking about as far as, Chat, Gemini, and Claude, et cetera. And you asked a really important question, which one kind of works? What I would say is, meaning for each, for a specific use case, what I would say is you could try them out and see which one works for you. Okay. But generally speaking, Chat, I think, works a little bit better for numbers if you're trying to push numbers in the system to see, maybe prognosticate, what a market would do as an example. I think Gemini worked for kind of pulling from the internet as we speak now, meaning if you want to combine search with, AI, I think Gemini works pretty well.
Okay.
And then I think Claude works well if you just want to write a big tome or a big book as an example. So those are just general viewpoints.
Perfect.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, I think the question is, you're way ahead of everyone else, but what's one way of getting started?
Yeah.
Create an account at one of those places. Usually they're free, by the way. So
Okay.
that's all you have to do is open an account. As an example, at Claude or Chat or
Okay.
Gemini, generally speaking, it's free. So just go open an account. Especially if someone has zero
Yeah.
experience, open an account.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
play
And then
around.
you're able to
Oh,
connect that to all your different, like your email account,
yeah.
CRM, or,
If someone's really smart, yeah. I mean, that's jumping ahead, but yeah, totally.
and then when you connect it, you can actually tell AI what you want to do with that system.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's jumping ahead, but the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
for the heck of it, I would say getting started, just throw in some business challenges,
yeah.
whatever, content creation, project management, and
Okay.
just see if it fits for you.
Yeah.
Again, I think you're past this, but just letting people know, and then integrate, as I said, your LLM or your AI model into your workflow, and then figure out, what you should do on a given day, as an example, or figure out your diet based on the inputs you put in. It can even kick out some suggestions as far as suggestions for your diet or
Yeah.
what you should do during the day based on the input you provided. It will kick out suggestions. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You'll
Yeah.
have to firm up your prompts, as they call them, what you type in,
Okay.
but it'll give you some suggestions as what to do in a given circumstance.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I would say continue, monitor it. Let's say you want to throw together a diet. How do you want to diet for a month and lose 20 pounds? Just
Yeah.
keep ongoing analysis if it's working based on the inputs you've provided or the
Yeah.
prompts you've provided.
Yeah. You know what I also like is people, like when I got into real estate, I remember my broker saying you're not selling homes, you're actually selling not just the lifestyle, but you're actually selling Hawaii, right? The culture and where do my kids go to schools or a movie theater? Where's the doctor? I mean, and how many households? It's just fascinating all the questions people ask. How many golf courses? What's the golf rates? I mean, just, and I go on there sometimes just to see if things have changed, right? Like it depends on what client is flying in. A lot of clients flying in, right? Or they own banks, or I can already know what they're going to be asking, right? Like, does it make sense to be, invest here or not? And they want to know, is the population growing? I mean, just all kinds of things that have nothing to do with real estate, but it's great for me to just, be briefed on it. As the population increase, what's going on? How's the economy? It's perfect. And though it caters it to the island, the county. Yeah.
I
Where
love that.
somewhere else I'm like Googling, right, for hours, like asking Google, asking Siri, and just, it's phenomenal.
That reminds me of one huge thing. So obviously, back in 10 years ago, Google had the market share for search.
Yeah.
That's to a certain extent going away, because now all these LLMs, people are searching LLMs for information, answers to their questions.
Yeah.
So now it's called, remember it was SEO, search engine optimization,
Yeah.
but now it's ask engine optimization, or AEO.
Okay.
So that's going to be a thing. So some people would say, and we're doing this, by the way, we're changing our website so it can answer the questions
Yeah.
that are being provided to AI, to LLMs. If people say, oh, who's a good tax provider? Well,
Yeah.
we would say vastsolutionsgroup.com NY as an example. Or can you get tax credits based on, researching AI for a real estate company? And the answer to that is yes. And then we say why. And then because we want all the LLMs to crawl down to our website and say, oh, here's the answer. Because SEO is going away. It's a different strategy of being sought after.
It's so expensive, right? I mean, I pay for it now, and it's just, I mean, you're really, the more you can pay, the better. But I mean, it's a costly expense. Usually SEO, if you want really good quality SEO. But AI has helped, right? They know what type of SEO, what's working, what's trending. Even for me in real estate, like I was saying about like trying to be up to date with things. I asked at ChatGPT, what's the biggest question or what's the most common question people are asking? And now it's, can I afford to buy in Hawaii? Where I never thought, I thought, oh, maybe a certain, type of people would ask that question. But that's the number one question. Can I afford all walks of life to buy in Hawaii?
Wait a minute. So that's okay. Hold on. That's huge what you just said. So on your website, here's a suggestion. I'm not a marketing guy, by the way,
Yeah.
whatsoever. But on your website, what I would suggest is have a FAQ or question and answer
That's a good
section,
idea.
so you can answer it. So when people are asking that question, they
Yeah.
will find your website and it'll come up on the AI search. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you're way ahead. You're way, way, way ahead. I didn't even realize how
Well,
far
I was
ahead
just
you are.
thinking, like, you always want to be current, right, with whatever you're doing in life. And I was like, I had no idea people were asking, like, they're serious about that question. I thought, oh, maybe it's, people that are renting that live here and they're trying to buy their first home. But it's like, no, these are actually investors. These are people, that have money asking, can I afford to live there? What is it going to cost?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is I'm not, kind of almost in closing. So I'm gonna throw this out for you and for a lot of other people. I would say play around for an hour a day.
Okay.
Different LLMs times 5, so it's 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And someone would just say, "Wow, that's a lot of time." But you will find something. I will promise you that will make you money as an entrepreneur based on the hour a day that you're spending.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because just
You'll
me
find-
playing around with it's taking a lot of tasks off my to-do list.
Yep.
Where it was like a
right.
project, I was like, oh, it's going to take a while, or yeah.
Yep. And then, so that's number one. Then number two, sponsor a monthly IRL or in real life meetup.
Okay.
At first, get family, friends, business associates, and you will be, especially you. Wait a minute. Are you trying to build a team or are you not trying to build a team?
I have a team, but what I'm trying to do is scale the company. So grow the company, but have like a solid team. A solid team of producing agents, and a development team also. I kept it small on purpose because I was on other developments where you want to have a really good, solid team, and then you can expand from there once the developments launch. So that's where I was. I kind of kept it like a boutique real estate company.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, okay, where I thought I had one development, now it's 3. So I'm like, oh shit. I got to like scale up. And so AI has been tremendous in trying to do I need a marketing assistant or do I need another operations manager? Like trying to figure out, especially in like rebranding. Okay, that's done. Okay, now the next thing is like assessing what we have and then hiring new. But like what positions do I really need? And yeah, it's been tremendous actually in giving me ideas, what positions AI has.
We're going to go to the next slide. That's very interesting. I'm going to table that for 1 minute. I guess what I'm saying there is if you do a monthly meetup, you'll become especially where you are, and based on your knowledge already, you'll become the person, the girl, whatever you want to call it, for AI, and things will grow from that.
I think so too. And I have spent, Hawaii is already expensive, but I know here, if you want good quality anything, there's like, a handful of contractors, handful of everything you can think of, especially here on the outer islands. You're going to pay top dollar. And so this is like, you're at the mercy of like, all these years of all these really good people. And I'm like, well, now there's AI and they're doing even better, more of a better, consistent job. And it's free. It's not, price gouging me because they can, right? It's like you're at the mercy. It's like always like almost like a monopoly where you're forced to use, if you want something good, you have to pay top dollar.
Yeah. I know what you mean by that.
So that's really helped me too, of trying to find, accurate information, thorough information quickly as a business owner.
Yeah, I totally get that. And then go to an annual conference. Who knows? At first, I would say, even for you, there's got to be conferences in Hawaii, AI conference. But what I would say is pretty soon, I bet you are going to be the AI person they're asking to come up on stage. And then people are going to be feeding you with all the potential leads or whatever it is, because you're the authority, especially in Hawaii.
Yeah. I mean, just with me trying to scale and take on 3 developments, I just have seen this has been tremendous for me. I mean, I think it would have been lost. As an entrepreneur, no one's really telling you, okay, step 1, step 2. Oh, if you want to grow, you got to do all of these things,
Yep. Oh, totally. Well, now, but here's the reason I put this together, but you're totally right, is I think some people get lost, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason I say, what are some places you could go to for advice? you can, I guess, contact us at vastsolutionsgroup.com. But again, we don't really do AI for outside people. But what I would say is there should be user's guide within any of the chat or any, chat, Gemini, Claude, X,
Okay.
et cetera, number one. Number two, there's tons of training videos or videos on YouTube or whatever, how to kind of optimize. So
Okay.
that's another kind of way that, you could utilize something as far as support or a resource.
Okay.
And I know there's like, Facebook community forums as an example for almost any of the models. Actually, I know there are, right?
Yeah.
And then very theoretically, you can contact Gemini and they can get you started, or Google, they could get you started, or
Yeah.
X can get you started, although it's hit or miss. But anyway, those are just 4 resources. We're building out some resources just to help some clients or help the general marketplace with what's going on with AI. But that's not our deal,
Yeah.
Anyway, you get it. I'm just
There's
trying to
definitely a need. I mean, I think like me, I was scared of it, right? You hear it, you kind of hear it all over the place, and it's like, but maybe, maybe that's what the internet was years ago too, right? Everyone was scared of it. But this is where we're going, so you have to jump in and learn it.
Totally. Well, this is where we're going. There's no turning back. Actually, I think that's the next. Oh, hold on. What you're saying is exactly right. But what I would say is, sure, it's scary. Ask AI. Ask the model itself. If you're spending, as I mentioned, 1 hour a day times 5, and then for a month, ask AI to teach you.
Okay.
What's scary about that? The AI isn't going to come out and beat you up, right? Just ask Google or Chat or whatever the case is. How to learn. It'll walk you through how to learn that system and maybe other systems as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think you're right. It is scary because AI, it's such a technical term.
And then my daughter taught me, and I was like, this is phenomenal. And then I just started like playing around with it, asking all kinds of questions. And then I got to know, okay, this is what she does. And she's from Hawaii, and she owns a real estate company. I started catering my answers towards that. And like I said, the people always miss the true Hawaiian cultural aspect. They're missing it. They're missing the terms incorrectly. They're not capturing it correctly. And they'll have like cheesy graphics or just cheesy responses. And I was blown away. Like, oh wow, yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, look at this. It was like, yes, finally somebody got it. Where you're not like, no, that's not what that means. You're trying to like give a lesson to massive big marketing corporations. I've done that too. And it's like, no, that's not what that means, but ChatGPT like nailed it. I was like, yes. What a relief.
And then some people say, the reason I threw this up there, because some people say, oh, is it just a trend? Is it going to be around? There's just no way it's not going to be around. AI is going to be, its growth has been higher than the internet. It's been growing that fast in percentage terms. So it's going to be around. It's going to learn. Right now, it's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
Just thinking, whatever, a year it's going to be that much better, and a year from there it's going to be that much better. You gotta, if you're not using ChatGPT or Gemini or one of those models, you're going to be probably lose your livelihood to someone who is, or you're going to lose your job to someone who is. So you might as well try to figure it out now.
I agree. Yeah. And it's accurate. I mean, it's incredible.
All right. So what I'm going to do, let me go back to where you and I are. Stop.
This prompt.
Okay. So what do you want to say in closing? I mean, this has been awesome. I think you are really awesome. I mean, what would you say in closing?
Thank you for helping me, because I was just like, oh, I've met amazing people on podcasts, actually. Better than any networking events I've ever gone to. It was like they were all in the same boat together, all business owners, and kind of the same issues, same success stories. Yeah.
So what would you say in closing that? What would you say to someone who's kind of afraid? I mean, besides to learn it, learn the model and stuff. What else would you say to someone who really needs to get going?
I would just, go on, for me, ChatGPT, just start asking it a bunch of questions. I started asking things, what job I'm in, right? What career I'm in, what makes a good realtor? Just all of these questions. You can ask it anything. And the suggestions were phenomenal. Gave me a bunch of ideas with what I do day to day, right? In business and all types of things. So for me, I would just say I was scared. Just get on any of those apps and Start asking questions. I mean, about anything. It starts to get to know you, so it gives you answers, right, of the area you're in and what you do, and it's phenomenal. It is truly incredible.
Wylan, this has been awesome. I totally appreciate
Yeah.
it. Wow. And what I would say in closing, if anyone needs any real estate in Hawaii,
Yeah.
uh, get a hold of
Please.
Lylan Bento. And if anyone needs any help, whatever on tax, any of their specifics as far as helping them with get an R&D credit for all the stuff they're doing with AI, please reach out to us at vastsolutionsgroup.com. Lylan, it's been awesome. I totally
Yeah.
appreciate it. This is Kenner French signing off. You're watching and listening to The Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thanks, everybody.
Mahalo, Ken.